We're currently witnessing a modern golden era of JRPGs. This is a generation, and hype of JRPGs is probably close to how it was back in the 90s when Squaresoft was releasing bangers left and right. Leading up into the early 2000s, even when the PS2 release, we received more heavy hitters. After heavy hitters, we did have some slow times, but it was still a good time, like, PS1, PS2, Nintendo DS, Sega, it was so many JRPGs that are very memorable. Legend of Dragoon, the Shin Megami Tensei series, of course, Final Fantasy, Vagrant Story, that's another good one. Suikoden, Chrono Cross, Chrono Trigger. We had bangers, right? 90s, 2000s bangers. And I feel like that would be the original golden era of JRPGs. Throughout the 2010s, it was, it was a wave every so often. Like, there were some good ones, but I feel like now, between 2023 and 2024, JRPGs have been riding such a beautiful high, and I feel like there's been a resurgence of the JRPG genre. The amount of hype and deliverance of each game coming to release was absolute bangers, like Final Fantasy 16, Octopath Traveler, Star Ocean Second Story Remake, and many, many more. If I keep naming them, this list's gonna get real long. But they set a bar so high for innovation in gaming, fighting to bring a trusting relationship between players and devs, as the industry is full of games with microtransactions, live service type games failing on arrival, most companies not caring about their audience, and therefore the JRPG's gods have rise from the ashes, and the games released in 2023 and 2024 really showed JRPGs can hold the crown for some of the games in the genre to be produced. But then, oh sweet baby, we get to 2024. And these games that I'm going to name off to you, 3 specific ones, have broke records. Records, I tell you. It's all over Twitter. It's all over every other news site. But these particular 3 that released in 2024 is currently right now pushing this golden era of JRPGs. Really pushing it in and like, hey, we're here and we're back, baby. The 3 JRPGs in question has already raised that bar once again, as they have been crushing player counts, one of the first of its series, and it's also have been crushing sales, the amount of 90%, 9 out of 10s, 10 out of 10s, these 3. And I want to start with one of my favorites out of this list, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Now, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth kicked off 2024 breaking records for being the most successful and most played in the entire Yakuza series, being overall a direct sequel to Like a Dragon, and a side story, and the side story of Like a Dragon Gaiden being the 8th installment. Infinite Wealth brings 2 absolute legends to the team with each over each other, and I finally see how the story of Kazuma Kiryu ends. The amount of marketing and overall hype to being one of the largest JRPGs out there. It had all types of marketing, whether it was over here in the West, over in Japan, like even celebrities were joining in on action. You couldn't go nowhere without some form of seeing Infinite Wealth. And of course, let's think about like AEW, the wrestling program that did the Like a Dragon Gaiden, Man Who Erased His Name marketing for having a match like them. Like, overall, the hype for the Yakuza series has been on a real time high. Like, I felt like back in the PS2 days of Yakuza that not many people really were playing it. Like, it was a small niche, but I feel like it has hit such a wide audience now. But Infinite Wealth goes back to the turn-based roots from Yakuza Like a Dragon, following the intense action Kiryu brought to the scene from Like a Dragon, Man Who Erased His Name, and with the turn-based system coming back that has also changed slightly, with actually some improvements from Like a Dragon. First thing that players will notice that there's a ring area around your characters. You can move within that circle to set up attacks, as well as by using skills you can actually see if the attack is linear or it's an AoE, which can make the attack stronger if you're close enough. Playing as Kiryu is weird, but it's fascinating because he joins Kasuga in this turn-based RPG mechanics. Now, for some of you, Kiryu and all of the Yakuza series 1 through 6, it was just a action RPG, action adventure, beat 'em up fighting game. By the time Yakuza 7 came out, it became turn-based. So it's actually pretty cool seeing Kazuma Kiryu, this legend, break the rules of turn-based, and you can actually let him actually roam around while everybody's, just sitting there, and you can just beat on them until the meter is. It's hilarious. The way he fights is awesome. You do get all of his fighting styles, the brawler, the rush. But overall, this game have received so much reviews. Like, I've seen 9 out of 10s, 10 out of 10s across the board. It has a 90% review score on Metacritic. Like, this game is probably, in my opinion, I felt like it was going to be the most hyped and most wanted, and it broke that record. It's sitting at, like, if I'm not, last time I checked, like 45,000 concurrent players, which from all the reports I'm seeing being the most people playing a Yakuza game. Like, overall, it is amazing. But that sets me up for another oldie here. But Persona 3, specifically the remake. Persona 3 is deemed as the best Persona in the entire series. Persona 3 for the PS2 was overall a landmark RPG. This has such critical acclaim for its unique blend of social simulation, dungeon crawling, and the dark thematic exploration that plagues that entire game. Atlas understood this and made the best decision to remake a fan favorite of the series, but not just a simple remake. Like, they added more content to give players the true and complete finish to the Persona 3 story. There's good and bad ways of doing remakes, and the way Atlas handled it was beautiful. Chef's kiss. Therefore, making it easily accessible for new and old players of the series. Not to mention, making Persona 3 Reloaded available for Day 1 Game Pass, helping bring more JRPGs to the Xbox platform. And therefore, like, if you're not used to playing JRPGs and you're, mainly it was a PlayStation type deal, and you want to try them out, but you got an Xbox or a Game Pass, dude, jump right into Persona 3. And every game is its own story, so kind of like Final Fantasy, follows the same universe in a sense, but just multiple different stories. So it's not like I have to play Persona 1, 2, or the Shin Megami Tensei to truly understand what's going on. It does a great job explaining the universe for it. Currently sitting at 43,000 players in game as we speak, sitting at an 89% on Metacritic, and received 9 out of 10s, 10 out of 10s across the entire board, basically making this the best Persona ever in the entire series. With the brand new features added to the game, with the new modern controls, the revamped UI, and more stuff that was added to the story to add a overall complete package, I can honestly see why Persona 3 is getting the love and support that it's receiving. Being deemed as overall best in the entire series when the original game came out, they somehow did it again with this remake. Persona 3 on PS2 was a groundbreaking RPG that left a lasting mark on the entire genre. Its blend of story, characters, gameplay, atmosphere, the whole nine continues to resonate with players today, making a worthy experience for anyone interested in a thought-provoking, engaging JRPG. With the remake, we can relive this story in a brand new look and a more story added to complete the dark themes that are circling around Persona 3. Lastly, we have Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. This released about a week ago on January 31st, 2024. It has received positive reception from critics and players alike. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink seems to be a solid action RPG with a lot to offer. The engaging combats, the stunning visuals, the online co-op make it all worthwhile considering, especially for fans of the franchise and action-oriented games. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink currently have 84,673 concurrent players, therefore having the best scores in sales and the player count for the entire series. Stepping away from the franchise's usual 2D art style, Relink boasts beautiful 3D environment and beautiful character models. Overall, the entire hype train for Grand Blue ran just as much as Persona 3 and Infinite Wealth. Like, their demos that went out, the fact that it was, if I were not mistaken, it was one of the most downloaded demos for that game at the time period. Like, people loved it. I was able to sadly like use my boy's PlayStation to see if I can try to get into it, but I eventually just ended up just watching other people play it. But right now, the game's sitting at $60, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. Like I said, that 3D environment, oh, it really brings the characters to life, with the combat feeling fluid and responsive, keeping players engaged and being a sort of Monster Hunter-like type of game. I can see why it's getting the love that it's getting. These 3 JRPGs kicking off 2024 really set the tone for this year of gaming. Us JRPG fans are eating with all of the hype and marketing is bringing in newer players to the series. 2023 really was the start of the year for us JRPG fans to really start eating, as the industry became saturated with live service games. Microtransaction at its absolute highest. People are just starting to get bored of gaming in general, and JRPGs really stepped up to the plate and released these absolute bangers. But let me know in the comment section below, what is your current JRPG addiction, and do you think that this is the new modern golden era of JRPGs? And as always, it's been your host, KISDTV, here at Chaotic Inc., signing out. Peace.
Manifest, I don't sleep, that's so weak, don't plan to rest. I'm from a hood where you die if you don't pack a vest. No culinary degrees, but whipping crack the best. Chefing, hard times taught lessons. Praying every night to pull up in park Benzes. What's my home is what you call trenches. You wouldn't last a day seeing life through all lenses. It's all tension, no sun, and rain and plenty. Full-time job, still can never make a penny. I ain't